Today I would like to tell you the story of the farmer and the canal boss. This story takes place in Egypt way back when, so long ago that no one remembers the name of the farmer or the canal boss that's involved in this. Anyway, what happened is a farmer had been working all year and had gathered up everything that he could take to trade because he lived so far away from the city that he had to load up his donkeys and walk into town, and he only did this about once a year. So he had 3 donkeys all loaded up with everything that he was bringing to sell in the city, and he's walking along. And as he's going along, he's thinking, yes, I'll be able to get a new dress for my wife, and I'll be able to get some toys for the children. Yes, and he's really anticipating how well this is going to go. And he's going along, walking along the path that goes along the canal. Now, keep in mind, canals were very important in ancient Egypt because water was so scarce that the canal bosses would be appointed sometimes by Pharaoh himself to make sure the canals were taken care of and to collect taxes and things like that to maintain the upkeep of the canals. Well, this one particular canal boss was very greedy, and he saw the farmer coming with his 3 donkeys, and he said, I'm going to get everything from that farmer and his 3 donkeys, and he won't be able to do anything about it. So the canal boss had one of his servants bring out this big tablecloth and stretch it over the path so that it covered almost the entire path except for a very narrow part right next to where his crops were growing, because then the farmer had to try to squeeze over, and he was doing really well, but the canal boss was watching him. Make sure those donkeys don't take any of my wheat, because if they do, you're going to be in a lot of trouble. And the farmer says, I'm doing the best I can. And the canal boss said, and don't you dare step on my cloth, and don't you dare let your donkey step on it. The farmer says, I'm trying. So goes along, and as they're going along, one of the donkeys says, this wheat looks pretty good. It's almost perfectly ripe. So reaches over and grabs one bite. Ow. Well, the canal boss saw this because that's what he was hoping for. And he told the farmer, that's it, because your donkey took some of my wheat. I'm confiscating your donkeys, and I'm confiscating everything that was on them, and now it's mine, and there's nothing you can do about it. The farmer said, that is not fair. I'm willing to pay you for the one bite my donkey took, but this is not fair. And canal boss says, you can't do anything about it. Ha! So the farmer then has to go on, and he goes into the city, and he goes to the magistrate. And he goes to a magistrate and he says, oh, magistrate, you've been appointed by a very wise Pharaoh who always tries to be so just and fair to his people. And I know you are very wise because of this, because Pharaoh would never appoint someone who's not wise. And he explained everything that had happened. Well, what happened at this time is the magistrates had to have a scribe that would take down every word that was said in the courts so that it could be presented to Pharaoh each day so Pharaoh could approve any decisions that were made. So the magistrate took the notes from the scribe, took them to Pharaoh, and Pharaoh read over this and said, oh, I think I like this farmer. Stall for a couple more days. Let's see if he can get even more fancy and elaborate in his praise of us, because this makes me happy. So this went on for 3 days, each day the farmer presenting his case and the compliments getting more and more. So eventually Pharaoh said, okay, hear the case, though I am very much inclined to go and judge in favor of the farmer, but hear the case and judge wisely. So the magistrate heard the case, all the details as laid out by the farmer, and then said, okay, we're going to have to go and talk to the canal boss about this so that we can get his side of the story. So then the farmer, the magistrate, and then Pharaoh himself goes to the canal boss's house. And the canal boss tries to make an excuse as to the donkeys were tearing through his crops, and they were unchecked, and they were eating his food and trampling his crops. And the farmer says, no, that's not the case. And Pharaoh's listening to this, and the magistrate's listening to this. And the magistrate says, I'm judging in favor of the farmer. Canal boss, you are liable for trying to take his goods without justice. And Pharaoh says, and also because the farmer has proven himself to be loyal and true, and you have proven yourself to be a liar, canal boss. You are no longer the canal boss. Bye-bye. And sent him out the door with just the clothes on his back and a little bit of food and a little bit of water. And the farmer was then made the new canal boss, and his family was sent for, and they moved into the canal boss's house, and he was always fair and never charged more than was due. And this is the story of the farmer and the canal boss.